What's up, traders? This is Vee Trades, and today we'll be doing a technical analysis breakdown for strategy B with the ticker symbol MSTR. I will first be going over what I see in the daily chart and finish the video off with the weekly chart. This video is for entertainment purposes only. Please trade at your own risk. So let's go over what the market participants have been doing and where they're most likely trying to take price to next. So today was another big drop for strategy, about a little bit more than 11%. Price was once upon a time trading at 282, and then now it's closing at the high 230s, right back to the prior support level. As you can see here, we can draw a line across that support. Looks like a micro triple bottom could form, and maybe we could bounce off of it. But again, with that being the only support in the way, I don't think it's going to hold. There's a good chance that price may tumble down lower because there's a downward channel in play or a downward trend line. You can see that we have lower highs, lower lows, and the next target is right over here, the opposite side of the channel. That's generally where price goes. When it hits one side of a channel, it goes to the opposite side. When it hits one side of a channel, it goes to the opposite side. So the next target would be low 200s, high 190s, which coincides with possibly this breakout zone right over here. So this was the breakout zone in the past, back here in October of 2024. So maybe price is coming back down to retest it. That's at the 180 level. Let's take a look at maybe some measure move targets. This is all one leg down right here. Second leg down, that could be right around 143. Truthfully, there's multiple targets to the downside. I would just go based on the channel. So let's see what happens. Let's see if we see a bounce soon as possible at this support level, or we see it at low 200s, high 190s, and then go from there. But overall, we're still bearish. We're not bullish short term, obviously, until price can invalidate this channel. But this channel is definitely in play. MicroStrategy is not immune to what's going on in the market as of right now. Basically, most stocks are selling off, even the most strongest ones in the market. Even Apple, another red day, and this is a multi-trillion-dollar company, $2.59 trillion company with billions of dollars of cash on their balance sheet, with one of the strongest networks in the planet. They're probably strong as most countries in the world, this one company, and they're also dropping like a rock. You can see that from highs to lows. That's a 33% drop. That's insane. Let's take a look at Microsoft, one of the most valuable companies in the world, from high to low. Currently at 24%. At one point, it was 26%. And this is a multi-trillion-dollar company as well. NVIDIA as well. Let's take a look at NVIDIA. Again, multi-trillion-dollar company from high to low, 37%. And at one point, is at 43%. And let's go back to MicroStrategy. From high to low, we're at 55%. So, kind of close to NVIDIA, to be honest, if you just don't include that prior high, because that was kind of a balloon where we just went exponential for a second. Basically, for one day, you could say this is more like the high right about here at the 446. This is more in line about a 46% drop. Again, technically it is more, but it's kind of just slightly more than the other multi-trillion-dollar companies, and this is less than $100 billion. So again, everything is dropping, so we can't really say MicroStrategy is dropping because of something fundamentally going wrong with the company. There's nothing fundamentally wrong with the company. They still own the same amount of Bitcoin. They haven't sold any, and I don't think they were going to sell as of right now. This is just all short-term noise in the market, and I think it will blow over. I don't think the market's going to continue to crash. They cannot allow it to crash. Just like happened in 2008, they will probably pump up the bubble because no one wants it to crash. So we're going to get probably an injection of liquidity in the market at one point or another. And once we start seeing these stocks start to bottom out, the more volatile stocks, then that is your sign that we probably have seen the bottom. So I don't think this can continue forever. I think it will probably continue for the next several weeks, maybe in the next several months, but that's all short term. I think eventually this will move up higher and follow Bitcoin. Obviously, Bitcoin doesn't really care about tariffs at all. It has nothing to do with that. Even MicroStrategy, that's not really their product base. Tariffs, they're not selling a physical product to another country. They're just buying Bitcoin. So it shouldn't really affect them that much. It's just the debt that they have, and it's based on Bitcoin. As long as Bitcoin doesn't drop too much, even then their debt is serviceable, in later years. So again, it's long-term thinking. As right now, this is a asymmetric bet. This is an opportunity, in my opinion, for these crypto-related stocks, Bitcoin and MicroStrategy only. I don't care about anything else in the market as of right now. These will probably be the last man standing, and I believe they will reverse sooner than later. But again, you cannot be delirious. It is dropping down lower. We're looking for lower price targets. This was my invalidation level right here. If we cannot break this downward sloping trend line, then you need to maintain a bearish bias. You can even draw a trend line off of this more recent downward price action as well. So the downward pressure looks to be picking up. So bears have control of the market, obviously, in the short term, and most likely we will see lower prices. Let's take a look at Bitcoin's chart real quick. Bitcoin on the Bitfinex chart. And again, the only thing you need to focus on for Bitcoin right now is basically this downward sloping trend line right about there. And then if we go on the log scale, looking at the monthly chart, you can see that we're a distant away from the EMA. So maybe price come back to the EMA on the monthly, which is right around the mid $60,000 level. But look at the chart. This is still a very nice uptrend channel in play. This is a very long-term channel, and it's still in play. We have the nice trend line right over here. We have drag it up. This is all just still an uptrend. So even for this move over here, price came back to the channel and then it rallied higher to the top side. Maybe we come back to the channel and then we rally to the top side. I mean, that would be a very significant drop, but it would still be an uptrend. Even if we drop to the $43,000 level, there is support over here. There's a channel trend line that price bounced off previously, where it bottomed back here in January 2023 at $16,000. So even if we drop to the $40,000 level, there's still a possibility that we still move up higher in the long term. Short term obviously is bearish, and it most likely will remain bearish. But long term, then validation level is quite a bit of ways below. So don't worry about anything long term as of right now. It's still quite a bit of ways away. Let's go back to MicroStrategy real quick. That was just to show you guys an example of the long-term chart for Bitcoin. MicroStrategy bearish in the short term, but long term, let's take a look at the weekly chart right over here. And we're still above this bullish trend line right over here. So that's a good sign. And that coincides with that 178 level. So you see how well, this all comes together. This confluence there, we got 1, 2, 3 touches here, and then we come to that point of intersection right at the breakout zone of 180 back over here, where price broke out in October. So there could be a major support level right here at the lower at this lower price level, high 100s, low 200s, right at 170 possibly. I know I hate to say it, but there might be that liquidity zone at these lower prices at the 170 level. And what would that be? What kind of drop would that be? About 66%. So let's see if we can get there. It's not guaranteed we get there, but it's not even guaranteed we stop there either. But as right now, can't be delirious. Let's look for lower price targets because that's what the market's trying to do. And then we'll go from there. But overall, the trend is still intact, just like Bitcoin. I would say so. So even back here in 2020, don't forget, remember what happened in 2020, guys. The whole world shut down, and then look what happened. Price dropped down from this point, to this point, about 45% back here from January into March. 45% drop for MicroStrategy. Right after that bottom, price went up about 1,300%. So I think we're going to be seeing something similar, a massive drop, and then, maybe a little consolidation, and then probably a huge reversal in the future. So I don't think this is going to continue crashing all the way down to lower prices. Even this crash right over here cannot get down to this crash over here. So there's higher lows being made in the market. But anyway, let's take a look at the long-term chart for MicroStrategy. We take the swing lows across, we drag it up to the highs. And as of right now, it looks like we're trying to get back inside the channel, which is not the best sign in the world, but it is something to keep an eye on. Maybe it could be dragged down a little bit lower. So if you drag down this line a little bit lower, then the price is right around that EMA, 193. So again, maybe we bounce at that level right about there. 193, 189. Doesn't really matter. High 100s, low 200s is probably the next target for MicroStrategy. So Again, brace yourself. They don't call it a bull for no reason, because if you ride a bull, you could get whipsawed off. And this is the time to have your risk managed, not be over leveraged, maintain your conviction based on the technicals. There's always 1,000 different news coming at you, but again, the market is calculating everything for you already. Just look at the price action. If the market is bearish, then you should also be bearish as well. So short term is not looking good, but long term, Bitcoin and MicroStrategy still look okay. So that's all I have for MicroStrategy on the daily and weekly charts. There's also one last thing I want to mention. I was reading my Fiat Standard book by Safety Namos, and there was a very nice couple paragraphs I ran into. So I'm just going to go and read it for a couple of minutes. So let's start out with page 221, Fiat Cost Benefit Analysis. Without any monetary inflation, productivity increases would translate to price decreases. So that means over time, as technology increases, that should mean lower prices. With monetary inflation, rising prices indicate an increase in money supply larger than the increase in productivity. This means consumer price inflation does not allow us to estimate the wastefulness caused by using fiat money. So this is what I've been saying the entire time, that prices are going up because the increase in money supply is just basic supply and demand. And we haven't been really seeing it in like technology goods, because there's a higher productivity gain and it can offset that money printing, versus things that are lower margin like food or like cattle or like eggs, whatever. You'll see it quicker because they can't really manufacture those type of foods that quickly. But versus mass producing like a little plastic toy, you don't really see inflation in that, because it can be easily created cheaper. The increase in the supply of the monetary unit is a much better proxy for it, since it is unnecessary and purely a dilution of the value held by the holders. The average U.S. house in 1915 was $3,500. In 2021, it was $269,039. That is a compound annual growth in the price of the house at a rate of 4.18% over the past 107 years. Had the fiat standard adopted a fixed supply in 1914 and prices declined by 2% per year instead, the average American house would today cost $411. With a much smaller supply of the dollar, prices would be far lower than what they are today. Incomes would, of course, also be much lower, but the decreasing price of goods means that they become more affordable over time, and that saved money buys more goods every year. $411 in 1915 could have bought your great-grandfather 12% of a house. But if he had saved it and passed it on to you, it would buy you an entire house today. Your great-grandfather's pocket change would be enough for you to live off today. A world of decreasing prices would provide people with a strong reason to save for the future, and one can only imagine how much better living standards would be today, but had humanity not been afflicted by inflationary fiat. So life on a Bitcoin standard will get easier over time. Life on a fiat standard will get harder over time. This is Vee Trades, and see you guys tomorrow.